Kristin Macdonald is a radio host and inspirational speaker. Her show is called Second Vision, after her system, which is designed to help people create a new plan for their lives when the first one fails. She assists people to let go of what they can't change and make the most of what they can change. Kristin speaks from experience and from her heart, as she has had to overcome a significant loss of her eyesight from a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. Though her eyesight is poor, her vision is perfect.
Somebody once told me that people fear public speaking more than death. I mean, I just don't get that, because I'm almost blind and I never get stage fright. So there's an upside to everything. And one of the things that really helped me deal with the fact that I was losing my eyesight was to surround myself with people who have overcome greater challenges than me. My radio show is called Second Vision. It's very inspirational and motivational. And I have a lot of great guests on there. And one of them is Louis Posen. He's the head of Hopeless Records. And let me tell you, he is anything but hopeless. When I asked him how his eyesight was, he said, "Kristin, my eyesight isn't that great, but my vision is perfect." And this takes me to my system. The reason why my show is called Second Vision is because it's designed to help people make a new plan for their life when the first one fails. And that's because so often we have this picture and this idea of the way we think things are going to turn out. And you know that old Yiddish saying, man plans and God laughs? It doesn't always work out that way. Some people just keep hitting the wall and trying to make it happen, and it doesn't always work that way. So one of the things that I suggest that people do is to practice gratitude and appreciation. It's really worked in my life. So I want to take a moment here today and just have you go through a little exercise. So just take a breath and shut your eyes. Take a breath and just imagine your alarm clock has just gone off. It's the top of the day. But yesterday, your doctor told you that you would never see the faces of your loved ones again. You'd never identify a blue sky. How would you go about your day? How would you feel emotionally? How would you find your socks? Put your makeup on? How would you get to work if you couldn't drive a car? Would you still have a sense of humor? Just take a breath and really relax. Okay, thank you for doing that and for sharing my reality. That's the way it's been for me for the past number of years. And you know, I can tell you, when I do that exercise, I actually pretend that I can't hear or can't walk, because things can always be worse. It's the truth for all of us. So maybe, you know, enough about me, let's talk about you. Maybe you've lost your job, your home, some money in the market with this crazy economic crisis. Maybe it was a bad marriage. You know, whatever the case may be, we all have something. But the reason why people get stuck is that they focus on what they can't do, what they can't have, what they can't see. And so don't be one of those people. When you're faced with a challenge, surround yourself with others who have overcome greater hurdles, and make that gratitude list every night, and I promise you, you will soar. So how about that governor of New York? Did you know he is legally blind? Well, so am I. But you know, I wasn't always legally blind. In fact, there was a time in my life when I had 20/20 vision, and I could see everything and everyone in this room. But the truth was, I was in denial for some time that something was wrong. And many people get stuck in denial because it's too scary to face the truth. And for me, my brain kept telling me something was wrong, but I didn't want to acknowledge it. I was 20-something and living in New York, and I started tripping and falling at night and literally just kept picking myself up because I was too afraid that something might spoil my dream. And my dream was to become a television host and an actress and come to Hollywood. So I headed for Hollywood, and like most wannabe actresses, I took just about any job that was offered to me. And one of them included driving MacGyver on a commercial shoot. Now we're going back in time, but I'm sure there's some ladies in the room who might remember how cute MacGyver was in his day. Well, I was pretty excited, so I got my little driver's hat on and jumped into the limousine and picked up his Hollywood agent in Beverly Hills, and we headed for Pacific Palisades, where MacGyver lived. And the good news was, he and I got along like a house on fire, and we flirted up a storm until I hit all the metal detectors in the road. At the end of day one, at the commercial shoot. We drove home, and I started up the hill to his home in Pacific Palisades, and he was pretty tired after work, but he kept, kidding me, saying, come on, you can do it. And I had this creepy feeling that just washed over me. I suddenly couldn't see anything in front of me, and it was really scary. And so I hesitated, and he said, come on, you can do it, it's just a hill, come on. And so I just put my foot on the pedal, and all of a sudden I heard, stop! And I said, oh my God. He saved me from driving him off a cliff. So once again, MacGyver saved the day. And luckily, I wasn't fired. But I went to pick him up the next day, and he got into the car with me and said, move over. And consider this our first date. So I continued to drive around with MacGyver for the next couple of days, and I was the envy of all my friends and still got paid. That was the good news. The bad news was I found out very soon after that something was wrong and that I had an eye condition. So my point is, don't be stuck in denial, because if you're stuck in denial, you can't get to acceptance. And if you never get to acceptance, you can't find the gifts and you can't move forward. So with every negative, there's a positive. And in my world, I'm treated like the governor now when I go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, and that's because I carry a white cane. But I even have a male British voice that reads my emails, and he sounds like this.
Email from Barbara Niven, 11:25 a.m. Let's get to your blind date. Did you tell him you couldn't see him? You better fess up because you look so bloody normal. No one would know.
So what I'm saying is, with every negative comes a gift. So don't be stuck in denial, because with acceptance we find the gifts, and then we're able to move forward, as I said before. So we're getting into my system now called Second Vision, so let's roll up our sleeves and dig in. So what have we done so far? We've recognized that we have to do two things before moving forward. The first is to practice gratitude and appreciation, and that helps to see your life in a whole new way. And the second is to get into acceptance and stay away from denial, because with this, you're able to find the gifts and move forward. So let's talk about your second vision right now. Let's really think about how you want the picture to look. If you wanted to grow roses, you would plant seeds. So let's plant a seed for your second vision right now. So take a pen and open up your books. And I want you to write down something that you want for your life, big or small, but this is really going to set you in motion. And if you want, put something next to it too that's been blocking you, because we're going to deal with that later. So write that down. Okay, great. Now you've committed on paper, serious action. Okay, let me tell you something. One reason why people get stuck at this stage, the stage that's really the most challenging and most fun, and that's called action, is that they don't want to do certain things that will eventually bring them to their goal. I have a very close friend of mine who's an actress, and she works all the time when other actors aren't looking. And the reason for that is that she does something toward that goal every single day, and everybody marvels at her. And they always say, my God, she's working again. How does she do that? But she manifests it herself. And in my case, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you with a whole new career to inspire people, and that's my mission now, if it weren't for the vision rehabilitation I went through. I could talk endlessly about the things I had to do that I didn't want to do to get here. And one was learning how to use a cane. I actually fell down 16 stairs head first with a friend on top of me because I was too hung up about carrying a white cane. So I just cannot stress enough that there are many things that none of us want to do. When I first started working for one of the top Hollywood producers in this town, I could drive and I could read and I could see people at work. And when I left that job and the company closed a few years ago, I was having trouble with all three of those things. So just recognize that there are certain steps that you have to take toward action, but if you really want to grow roses, you have to plant seeds. And ladies and gentlemen, never lose your sense of humor. Yesterday I was in the store and a woman came up to me and she said, I just wanted to tell you, and I hope you don't mind, you really look nice today, but you're wearing one red shoe and one black. I said, hey, Halloween's Friday. Vision is a precious gift.